So whoever comes on board, I mean, this is our first pilot where we're actually going to be just answering any particular questions that come up on the virtual Trade Fair.africa. And we'll do this every day, 12 o'clock to 12:30, Monday to Friday. And we'll record all of these programs so that people can get their questions answered. Right, so let me shut off all the other technology. What questions do we have? Okay, there you go.
I already had one, Trevor. So we can invite anybody to this platform, anyone that's interested in the expo, so we can invite everybody and anyone to this platform.
Absolutely. So every single business operator that feels they've been left behind as a result of all this COVID-19 lockdown, that are concerned about not being able to get a physical presence up and running. This is something that you can work with. We designed it, Dawn, as I said to you, as a sort of complementary filler for all of those that were suffering as a result of the consumer customers not getting to their physical stores. And then also the exhibition space we know got hit heavily. So thanks to your input, and Irene and Alex, you guys who are the specialists. In fact, I think you should share how quickly did this thing come to light, so that anyone listening in here can get an idea of what we've actually done in a short space of time.
You mean, Trevor? Dawn?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, so, well, I'm Dawn Olivier from Designs. We've been in the exhibition industry for over 25 years, doing the physical expo. So with the COVID-19 lockdown, our industry came to a grinding halt. So being a member of the Four Ways Chamber and networking with professional business people, all looking for an opportunity, we were going to do an in-house small expo for all the entrepreneurs that are members of the chamber, just to give them exposure and give them a platform to put their businesses across. But with COVID, that put a grinding halt to our plan. So with the experts of the chamber, a number of them that are expert in the virtual field and other business areas, we put together the virtual exhibition in the first 21 days of lockdown. So we now have a platform for every business owner to put their products and skills across on this virtual platform from the 19th of June to the 22nd of June, which is in a few months' time. So therefore, every business will have a platform to put their products and services across.
So you know what, I'm going to give you a surprise. You said a few months' time. It's in 8 weeks. Yeah. I can't believe the time is absolutely flying. And I was just noticing that winter solstice is about 15 minutes to the 21st of June. So it's at 11:45 on the 20th of June is the longest night and shortest day. And that coincides exactly with the weekend that we've decided to launch this operation. So from Friday the 19th to Monday the 22nd of June. And then if I can ask Irene, just some of your background for anyone that might be listening in from the exhibition industry, and things that you've seen, how quickly this got off the ground, what you're excited about. Why do you believe people in businesses should jump onto this platform?
Thank you, Trevor. I'm Irene. I've been working with Dawn and Alex from Designs since January this year. We've both been in the industry for many, many years together. I'd say Dawn and I've probably known each other for at least 20 years in the industry, and we've always had an understanding of our working relationship. This virtual expo that has been launched from the 19th to the 22nd of June, which is practically, we are now heading into May, which is almost a month and a half, 2 months away. I think it's an absolutely brilliant platform for all people and all companies, all industries. There's no limit to who can exhibit at these virtual expos. It's something we're going to take to the organizers. As Dawn has said, our industry, the exhibition industry, has literally fallen flat as from when the COVID-19 has basically coming to the country and many other countries globally. So it is a reality we are facing, and it is definitely something we are looking at going, well, we are going into it already, which is a fantastic platform. There are no restrictions. It is global. And I can just honestly see, working with the chamber and what they've achieved in the 21 days of putting everything together, we are dealing with professional people who understand not only the industry, but understand the platforms of what it takes to put something like this together. I can only just imagine how it's going to fly. Dawn and I have already started putting our feelers out there to not only companies, but also to contractors, colleagues, and things like that. And the response already has been overwhelming. I can just see that this is going to grow very quickly, very fast, and it is definitely the way of the future. One-on-one contact.
Yep.
Sorry, Trevor. One-on-one contact. Sorry, my apologies. I think those days are in the past, and this is the way it's going to be going forward. Absolutely.
Irene, what is hot about this from a small business owner's perspective, medium size, large corporate perspective? Can you put them all under one umbrella here, and can you say, this is hot, 1, 2, 3?
That's it, absolutely, Trevor. I mean, I think, to be honest with you, the size of your business, if you're a one-man band, if you're a corporate company, it doesn't really matter. Everybody is exposed to the same opportunities. So it is an open platform for everybody, not just the small guys and not just the big guys. It is open to everybody, and everyone can join. And the benefits are endless for everyone. It is an open forum, open platform.
Right, Alex, I'm going to switch across to you. You're the design specialist. You spend all of your time in the physical exhibition industry, putting designs behind stands, etc. Just throw your opinion in. What have you seen? Why should people get involved in this? Why should business operators get involved? From your perspective, what do you see?
Well, as everyone has said, the volumes that you can churn out compared to a physical expo, there aren't limitations really, or as harsh restrictions on it. I mean, you can have 1,000 people in the expo as exhibitors, you can have 20,000 exhibitors, it doesn't matter. The really great thing is that on top of being able to just exhibit and get your message across, is that you'll also have the facility to actually sell your products and your services, which a lot of people don't actually have or are able to do at the expo. Some exhibitions don't allow it. Sometimes you can't even do it yourself because of other restrictions in the physical world. Here, you can start to do that, and never mind just doing it at the show, you can have it up and running for a whole year. So I mean, you don't get those sort of benefits at a physical expo. On top of that, the ability to easily collect and then action leads is far superior in the virtual expo than it is in the physical world. The biggest shortfall of a physical exhibition is the ability to calculate your ROI. And with the analytical tools that you'll have in the digital expo, in the virtual trade fair, it's going to make it that much easier to actually track your ROI, and as well get in touch with your customers almost instantaneously as soon as they've actually made contact with you.
So, you know, you guys, Alex, you and Dawn, you're part of a business called Designs, and Dawn, just remind me again, you've been in the industry how long?
Over 25 years, Trevor.
So the question is, why is it taking you 25 years to start thinking about a virtual exhibition expo? And I'm going to ask Alex that, because he's the youngsters should have been thinking about this a lot sooner than anyone else. So Alex, why did it take you so long to get here?
Well, necessity is the mother of invention when it comes down to it, and the need now hasn't been greater. The need now is greater than it has been ever before for a virtual exhibition because of circumstances that have played out. Things were going all right in the physical world, so you weren't thinking about doing a virtual exhibition, plain and simple. We've had to adapt and adapt quickly at that. So that's what we've done.
So, I mean, you know, for those people that are seeing us for the first time, you can see some of us are long in the tooth here. So from a youngster's perspective, I want your opinion of the pace with which this thing got from conceptual idea to actual being in the marketplace. What surprised you about the pace and speed of getting this up to the point of delivery right now? In fact, we've launched it to the market 3 days ago.
It's been very impressive. The one thing that you can get bogged down very quickly when doing something digital is all the fine details, because there are a lot of them. But the speed at which this has actually been implemented is phenomenal. Considering that there was no template to follow. It was made basically from scratch. To do that takes a lot of determination to get it done in that short time frame.
And what surprised you about that?
Firstly, the fact that there's a whole bunch of different people from different backgrounds coming together in order to make something novel and new actually get off the ground that fast is phenomenal. To be able to work together at that sort of a pace to get something as intricate as this set up in such a short time frame is testament to how people at the chamber can actually work together to get stuff done if they put their minds to it.
Okay, so one of the primary technical drivers and enterprise development specialists at the chamber is Ivan Anderson, sitting there with the virtual trade fair logo in the background, designed by a professional designer, I must tell you, but anyway, we'll come back to that later. Couple of things, Ivan, just from a technical perspective, what's your input about, again, the pace, speed, and really the delivery? What have we got here? Have we got something that's just been cobbled together with a piece of chewing gum and some elastic bands, or is this thing going to fly?
Well, yeah, I think it's, you know, as Alex has said, you know, in the digital world, you can spin your wheels if you get tied down in the minutiae, in the little bits of technicalities and all the rest of it. So for me, it's an evolving process. It's an evolving system. It will grow and develop as the demands of the market, you know, stress tests what we've done. So I think to get what we've got up in such a short space of time is pretty unusual, and I think it's a testament to, you know, to the people who've been involved in putting that up. You know, we have guys with huge experience in web technologies who've given of their time to do that, and it's like I say, it's an evolving process, but it's all there. You know, the platform is there, the functionality is there. You know, we've got the ability to not only host the stands, if we're going to call them that, because you know, that's a term that's possibly understood by the industry. But the booths, the stands, the people are going to display their products and services. As Alex said earlier, you know, the physical limitations that exist in the real world don't exist here. So, you know, the freedom to actually do and show and present so much more in this environment is I think going to be, you know, an eye-opener to many people who haven't really experienced this kind of technology before. You're not constrained to your 9 square meter stand or your 20 square meter stand or whatever your budget allowed you to do now. You have the freedom to actually extend well beyond those physical limitations, and not only that, you know, we've brought in concepts like you know, having speakers. So we're looking to have 32 speakers over the period of the 4 days. So one topic every hour for 8 hours a day. Specialists in their own fields. Guys are going to be talking on all sorts of different topics. and as I say, all specialists. So there's going to be a lot of other elements to engage people in this environment. There's a networking lounge. They're going to be virtual presentations. There'll be on-demand video available to people for products and or other items of interest, as well as the live talks. So I think what we've done is we've taken elements and concepts from the physical world, and we've just broadened the scope of what we can actually do here. It's going across the board. Many trade fairs tend to be set in vertical spaces, and what I mean by that is it's an industry specific type of trade fair. Here we can do that and go horizontal. We can go as wide as we want across all industries. There's no, once again, there aren't those kind of limitations that are put in place primarily because of space, more than anything else. When you're going into a physical environment to set up displays and all the rest of it, you've always got a space limitation. It really doesn't matter how big your piece of ground or your property or your building is, there's always a space limitation. And here we really don't have those kind of limitations. So I think it's created the possibility for us to do things that haven't been experienced in the physical realm, on a greater scale, on a wider scale, and with a lot more detail. So I think I really believe that it's going to be a massive complement to the physical world once the physical world gets back into business. And I think that's one of the big challenges. We don't know when that's going to happen. We're sitting now in South Africa with 5 phases of lockdown, currently about to come out of phase 5 and go into phase 4, but who knows, in a few weeks we might be back in phase 5. It all just depends on how things go in terms of trying to flatten that curve. So I think, businesses have to gear up. They have to be ready for massive change. They have to change the way they think about their businesses, the way they think about going to market, and the way they do business with those markets, and how they're going to attract them. And I think this is the platform to do it on. So, for me, it's an exceptionally exciting opportunity for businesses, as Dawn and Alex and Irene have already said, of all sizes. And then I think that's the other beauty of an environment like this. We can cater for businesses that formerly wouldn't have been able to participate in a trade fair simply because of the costs and the logistics involved in it. Now they can. And I think that really opens up a lot of opportunity for people.
So I've noticed a young lady coming on board here while you were talking, and I'd like her to introduce herself, some of her background, and why she's been keeping us awake for days and days with her excitement on this particular concept. So Desiree, introduce yourself, coming on board, and what's got you excited about the virtual Trade Fair.africa. So fire away.
Okay, my name is Desiree. I'm a civil engineer by profession. However, I have experience in events in terms of coordinating specific to professional events.
Desiree, I'm going to ask you just to get closer to that mic.
Okay.
I'm an old boy. I can't hear, man.
Okay, I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Good.
Okay, sure. I'm from an events background. I've helped host a lot of conferences and expos similar to one that you have, obviously with the constraints that you've just mentioned. And I'm interested in it because I realize that at this moment, it is exactly what every business needs in order to reestablish themselves or maintain their relevance in the industry. And also that it gives a lot of opportunity to other businesses that never really had any virtual or digital presence. And that might be interested in exploring those avenues. And in terms of the concept that I was trying to bring into it, it's more of how we present ourselves in terms of the digital approach and using as much digital resources as we can in terms of the artistic overview of everything in terms of the culture that we have in Africa as a whole, especially looking at the fact that Africa is basically the mother of most resources. And, people are not necessarily always aware of the professional offerings that we have in terms of business in general. And this gives the world a platform to view all of that. So it goes beyond just Africa and assisting Africa, but it also showcases our talents, our businesses, and everything that we have all in one platform. And because of that, we have to present it the best way that we can, because we also do have competitors from overseas in that regard, and that could take a concept such as ours and make it even bigger.
So, Desiree, if I can ask you, I'm going to take it from two angles, because you're so excited, you want to be a promoter of this particular concept in a big way. But I also want you, secondly, just to talk about what you think the frequently asked questions will be over the next 10 days or so, because that's what we're looking to do here. So just give me an insight from why it is that you're excited about promoting this, who you're going to be promoting it to, just, just give us some generic targets that you're going.
Okay, I'll give you an example of one product that I thought would fit in really well here. There's a gentleman who I'm working with who invented a slab system that spans up to 8 meters. It takes 3 days to install it at max. Then you pour your water and then you can build the very next day. That changes how engineering has been going over the years, as the normal slab system would take you 21 days. This man doesn't really have any marketing backgrounds or anything in place to that regard, and that's how I have partnered with him. And we were looking for a platform that would allow him to showcase his invention. And when I saw this, I was like, this is what we needed, Bentley. So from that perspective, I believe that it gives businesses such as his and concepts such as his a platform to gain the proper exposure that they need. Because a system such as that will change how engineering has always been made. But he just never had a platform. And that is something that we can obtain from the chamber, from the virtual trade fair. And yeah, from my side, that is why I was excited in that regard, because I know that there are a lot of businesses like him and products that don't have the exposure, but they're actually brilliant. Do you get what I mean? And like you said, they don't have the money to go to normal expos and get that kind of exposure. But this gives them a platform that is effective at the same time and also financially feasible for startups.
So Desiree, please, excuse me, just jump into you talking there. When you say they don't have the money to get involved in normal
expos are very expensive. Yeah, normal expos are very expensive.
What are you talking? What are you talking? Normal expos are very expensive compared to what you see the pricing here.
Yes, compared to your price. I've done Boma Africa. I've done Mark X. I've done quite a number of expos, and most of the time, in order to get a stand for a really good price, you pay anything around an average of 80-90K as well. So it's not financially feasible if you're starting out, if you get what I mean, unless if you've been a business that's been established and in the market for years, then it's one thing.
So what I'm going to ask is, what do you understand by the pricing of virtual trade fair Africa as a product?
Okay, from the conversation that I had with you guys on Saturday, I believe you mentioned around 18,000 along those lines. So that is way lower than your normal expo. Okay. And at the same time, it doesn't only give you exposure to the physical attendees, but it gives you exposure to the world, if we market this well.
So I'm going to ask Dawn and then Irene, just based on the type of numbers that Desiree was talking about here. And I mean, there's no need to mention any particular exhibitions and all those sort of things. I think there's just sort of a generic pricing across ranges. If we can just give me an idea of what your experience is over 10, 20 odd years of the typical type of investment exhibitors make in in any particular trade fair over a 2, 3, 4 day period.
Want me to go first, Trevor?
Go for it, Dawn. Thank you.
Okay, so just for a basic shell scheme stand, as a lot of people would know, a 9 square meter shell scheme stand, which is a 3 meter by 3 meter space, you're looking at anything from 30,000, and then if you dress it up, it can go up to 60,000 if you put in a few extra items there. But as a customized stand, you can spend anywhere from 80,000, depending how big it is, to over R1 million. If you've got a big space, if it's a customized stand. So quite a huge amount of money spent, whereas the virtual expo is virtually very inexpensive for the value you're getting. You've got visitors coming any time of the day. There's no time limit. They can come at midnight if they like. They can come from anywhere in the world. So your exposure is 24/7, which you cannot do in the physical world.
Okay. Irene, your input?
Thanks, Trevor. Pretty much the same as Dawn's, and also just to reiterate what Desiree said as well, knowing events and what it costs. The physical expos, the costs there are high. They are very high. It is not just one cost, two costs. There is constant costs that keep arising. So you didn't think about this element, you didn't think about that element. So it's a lot more involved, and your exposure is minimal to what you would get on the virtual platform. Virtual platform costs are incredibly well priced, to put it that way, if you want to put it in brackets. And your exposure that you're getting is far more of value than you could possibly ever get in the physical world, as Alex said as well. Exhibitions are not cheap, but it is a costly exercise. And this opens up a lot of doors for the smaller companies as well, and obviously for the bigger, but I'm talking from a financial aspect. As Desiree said, she's got this guy with a fantastic product, but he needs the platform. But he also at the same time doesn't have to take out a huge portion of money to be where he needs to be marketed.
So for those listening in for the first time into the pricing at the virtual trade fair, we've listened to the inputs of all these people that have been involved. Look, we know nothing about exhibitions. That's why we're working with the specialists. And all we're doing is from our chamber perspective, is we put a platform here just to help our businesses get past this lockdown and this nonsense. And now we can see that this can be of service to everyone in business. So the pricing that we put together for this was a 4-day trade fair, which takes place on Friday the 19th to Monday the 22nd. We priced it at 17,500. And because none of us know each other, we don't know what's going on, we don't know what the test is, we're just going to go out there in good faith. We've turned around and said, listen, if you jump in here, early bird special, prior to 2 weeks before that particular date, you can knock 10,000 Rand off that price. So for 7,500 Rand, you can get into this 4-day fair at a 10,000 Rand discount. And Ivan, you better confirm with me. I mean, you guys have made me give away all the money on the development of this site, but that's to build relationships and for us all to get together to see if we're growing something here. It might be the silver lining platform that has come out of this lockdown period that takes us all from a local South African perspective through Africa to the rest of the world. And then for me, I think the most exciting thing about the pricing of this is that what happens after a 4-day event? You've done all this work. When you put that 7,500 in, you get some basic templates. If you want special templates, you go and talk to these special designers that are all around here, and they'll give you special designs. Whatever you want, you can get. You can throw whatever money you want at it. But after 4 days, what do you then do with all your stands, all your designs, the whole titties? So the developers came up with the concept of turning around and saying, well, look, it's all digital. Why don't we put it not into just a 4-day event? And it's important to get a 4-day event to get the traffic in and make certain that people get there with urgency. But immediately you can then transfer it to a mall. So we take everything that has been designed into the virtual trade mall, as it were, or the virtual mall, which backs up everything. And this, remember, we've designed this and we're tweaking it on an hour-by-hour basis here. And that allows you to have the same exposure of all the digital work that you've put, all the digital collateral, the marketing, the webinars, the speakers, everything that we have done over those 4 days. And it allows you to have a 24/7, 365 exposure. And the price tag for that, for the mall, is 13,500. So we then took that pricing, 17,500 and 13,500, and we came with a total package, which we call package 2, of 31,000. Now, if you jump into that total package, the virtual trade fair and the virtual mall, you get that completely. And Ivan, you better, we've been giving away so much money, you actually get the virtual trade fair free, right? So you get the whole 17,500 package. All you have to do is you come in at 13,500. And then what we did, because the chamber has been, I mean, we do this all day, every hour. We've given a full premium membership, which is 10,000 Rand a year. We've thrown that into the 13,500 Rand package as well, just as a sweetener for you to get on board. So effectively, the cost of you getting this 31,500 package is 3,500 Rand. You get the premium membership at the chamber. These are the things that we do. These are chamber members. These are people that have met with us at the chamber. Ivan, have I done justice to the pricing?
Yeah, Trevor, I think, you know, in the short space that we've had now, I think you've encapsulated it. I mean, there's a lot of added value behind everything that we've done here. And I think, you know, as we roll out these sessions in the days ahead, we'll dig into some of that additional value. But you know, it's a massive value offering for a business, I think, to come on at these levels. You know, the inputs that they're going to get, you know, you touched on the reusability aspect, something that you don't get with a physical trade fair. You know, a lot of your stuff, once you've taken that stand down there, you've got damage and it's not reusable. Some of it might be, some of it might not be. You know, here you've got that whole reusability factor in terms of whatever digital assets you've created for the particular show. So, you know, there's just value upon value, I think, going forward with this as it evolves, and as the you know, the chamber grows and the membership grows as a result of events like this, the value is just going to increase exponentially to people that become part of it. So I think, you know, to put a number on it is extremely difficult, and I think we're providing massive value at a very, very affordable entry level. So, you know, get on now while the prices are still good, as they say, you know, because over time these prices are going to increase. I can guarantee you that.
Well, so here's what I'd like to suggest. We're making ourselves available every single day, Monday to Friday, 12 o'clock to 12:30. We're going to try and stay as close as we can here, just so that we can see what questions, what feedback we're getting in, because we're not afraid to tweak this thing. And we're also out there to help and enable every business to actually bridge this particular gap after lockdown. And heaven forbid that it continues, but we don't know where we're going. So we may as well tweak and work with this platform to make the best platform we possibly can. And all I want to do, I want to invite everyone, just like Dawn and Irene and Desiree, that have been in the industry or are in industry. Please, man, this is for you. So we've just done it for our chamber members. If you turn around and say, man, this is fantastic, I can add my brand into it, you just get on board here. You get to talk to us. We work with you. Let's get this out to the marketplace. There's good money to be made for it with everyone. We've kept those prices low. There's plenty of tweaking. You can do your design elements, your stands, all of that in the background. You can compete freely. You can collaborate freely. That's just the philosophy we have at the chamber, and we're flying. So please invite people to come along here. Let them ask difficult questions. I mean, we're only going to learn by the quality of the questions. Good questions will get good answers in a forum like this. So let's just wrap up. I think Dawn and Alex came in here first, then Irene, then Desiree. So let's wrap up with Dawn, and any observation from this little session from your perspective.
Yes, Trevor. I think, you know, we'll invite people now to this platform. It's a perfect opportunity for them to see where we're going with this, and for them to either sell on the expo or be exhibitors on the expo, because the people we know have massive databases and they're all in the same boat.
Good. What's your name again, Alex, sitting in the corner?
It's okay. It's like you say, you're pushing on there and you're self-forgiving. So yes, it's about just getting people to understand what it's about before they actually sign up. And this sort of presentation that we're doing now every day of the week at 12 is about just getting them to understand what it's about, the value they're going to derive from it, and how they can actually sign up to it at the end of the day. So I think it's a great way of actually bridging that gap before the exhibition actually takes place.
Great. Irene?
From our side, Trevor, thank you. Putting it in a nutshell, if you want return on investment, you need to be on a virtual platform. As simple as that.
Great. Yes, right.
Just to add on to everything that's been said, which I definitely agree on, this is the beginning of something really great if we all work together towards the same goal. And I believe that it's a time when we can actually collaborate instead of compete in that regard, by just looking at each company's or each contributor's way of adding value to the virtual trade fair, and then working together to synchronize everything together and bring it in a presentation, bring it in a seminar such as this, and much more. And at the end of the day, if we can put together all of those presentations and then not only distribute them to databases, but also to other people all over Africa using the means of social media marketing, then we can grow exponentially in that regard. And obviously the questions will then rise more and more.
Right.
Because then we're not only focusing on South Africa.
Excellent. Okay, so I think we've gone a little bit further. Where are we? At 12:37, 7 minutes over. I've got to be constrained. I'm so excited about what this offers to people in business that have really been struggling with what are we going to do. Here's something to help you out, and we'll all grow this thing together. So Ivan, thank you very much for putting the technical side of this together. And I think you must have the closing comment and make certain this gets up onto YouTube, and let's go for it every day. Monday to Friday, 12 to 12:30, we'll do this session.
Yeah, absolutely, Trevor. And I think just my closing comment is simply this: the more people that get on the platform, the faster the acceleration is going to be. You know, the digital world is actually about exponential acceleration. So if you want exponential exposure for your business, get on this platform, get going with us. The more of us that come together, the more of us that share, the more of us that collaborate, the bigger the growth for all of us in this process. So get on board and let's do it. Thanks, everyone.